morning, everybody. My name is Rob Slade. This is my buddy Mark Warns, and welcome to The Wrench. This is actually a show on people that have had a wrench thrown into their lives and what they've done with it and turned amazing things into their lives with what the wrench was. So we talked about before the last time that a wrench can be two things. It can be something that goes into your life and causes a mess, causes chaos, and you live with that misery the rest of your life. Or you can take a wrench and use it what it's meant to do, and that is repair, build, create things, and make an amazing life. So today's topic is actually going to be special needs and the untapped population of great workers in this country. And what we're going to talk today about is how special needs people can be a big, huge addition to any business you own. And I'm actually a business owner, and Mark is actually one of my employees. One of the several special needs people I've actually had working here. And when you find out that you have a special needs person that is really productive in your business and becomes a valuable day-to-day thing in your business, and you find that it's an unlimited resource for your company, then amazing things happen. And so we're going to talk about that today. And how do I bring someone in that has special needs? How does a special needs person and their family approach an employer to give them not just a job but a career? Something where they say, I want to do this the rest of my life. And it's not just a job. It becomes something that they're good at. And the one thing I want to talk about first off is, in this country, we have a real big problem. Our problem is we tend to dwell on people's weaknesses and don't build on their strengths. I work with athletes all day, and I teach classes all day, and the first thing out of the coach's mouth a lot of times is, well, so-and-so can't pass well, so-and-so can't do this, so-and-so can't do that. And very rarely do I hear it, so-and-so is really good at this. Everybody in this world has a special talent and has a special gift that if they capitalized on that, and instead of dwelling about what they don't do well, concentrate on building on what they do well, then there'll be a lot more successful people in this country. And we're not just talking special needs, because I'm going to talk here in a minute with Mark about some amazing gifts he has and about amazing talents that any employer would love to have as part of their company. And the many special needs kids that I've worked with over the years that all have a special gift. But every person has that. Mary, who's filming right now, has amazing qualities in what she does when she plays lacrosse, when she does things academically. We're also loaded with faults. Everyone in this world also has faults. I was reading a book the other day of Winston Churchill, probably the most famous by far British statesman in history. He was so loaded with faults, it was unbelievable. In fact, some of his faults actually turned out to be his best qualities during World War II. It's a lot of times overcoming the faults by using what you're good at that actually leads to your success. If you look through history, there's no one in history that was flawless. In fact, some of them have very, very great flaws. So this show isn't just meant for the special needs population. It's for everyone that ever had doubts as to their success or whether they could get a job or whether they could achieve their dream. So what we're going to do with this today, and going with the theme of downplaying and not concentrating so much at all on your faults, but build on your strengths. We're going to interview Mark. I brought him in here today, and actually, Mark, I'm going to be your job coach.
Okay.
Okay, and so we're going to talk about work today. Okay, so you love that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so Mark has been with me for how many years now? Not as a workout person, but as an employer.
I don't know.
About 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark has been working with me for about 5 or 6 years. And he's not only helped me here, but he helps me teach my classes at the Boys Latin School. And when I worked with the special needs school, he actually came down to help me too. So I have got a long, long history with Mark. But we're going to put that aside today. Basically, Mark, you don't know me today.
Okay.
Okay, I'm your job coach.
That works for me.
Okay, now, what I also want Mark to do is when we talk to him, one of the biggest rules you have to do when you go to any employer is what? Look them where?
Right in the eye.
Right in the eye, okay? That's a big deal. How you present yourself, whether you have special needs or not, is a big deal for an employer. A lot of times when I work with special needs kids, and even my athletes, I want them to look me right in the eye. That means a lot, right, Mark?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to act like I'm his job coach.
Or a boss.
Or a boss. Well, not a boss now. We're not a boss anymore, okay? So we're going to put the boss aside because we'll pretend you don't have a job right now.
Okay.
And you want one.
Yeah.
And our desire here is to get Mark to find a job that is best suited for him and gives him the passion and desire to want to wake up in the morning and look at this as, I can make this a career. I can make this something and really make my life really mean something. The idea here is that Mark is making his workplace and the people around Rails better because he's there than if he wasn't there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to ask him some questions. Okay, Mark, we already know that you like a job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask a question. Just randomly, totally, I don't care whether that's work related or not. What things do you like to do?
Computer, music, cars, biking, watching sports,
Okay.
football, the Ravens.
The Ravens, okay.
Lacrosse.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite car?
Cadillac Escalade.
Okay, what year?
Any year.
Any year? Okay. What color? Any specific color?
Nope.
Okay. Now, what about music? Where do you spend a lot of your time with music?
With
With
Dad.
Dad. Okay. His dad's right over here. Okay. Okay. What's your favorite band?
the Cure.
The Cure. Okay. And how many albums do you have of theirs?
A lot.
A lot. Okay. Now, how often do you spend actually doing music?
Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what store do you spend a lot of time at?
Record and tape traders or Soundgarden.
Okay, let me ask a question. If you walked into Record and Tape Traders, if I walked into Record and Tape
Yeah.
Traders and you were working there, and I came up and I said, I want an album from Pure Prairie League, would you know where to go find it?
Under the L.
Okay, well, we'll go with League, okay? But if I asked you any band, suppose your dad said, I want something from the Rolling Stones, would you know where to take him?
Under the S.
Okay, the Stones, okay? Now, would you be able to find your way around that store pretty well?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been there a lot.
Okay, so you've been there a lot. Okay, so let's look now, okay? Are we starting to get an idea where Mark might find a job?
Yes.
Okay, would that be something could you find yourself working in a place like that all day and taking people around and showing them where their
Yes.
albums are? Okay, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now what happens, would you be able to sit there and talk shop with somebody? You know what talking shop means?
No.
Talking shop means somebody comes in, they're into music too. Would you be able to hold a good conversation with them about music?
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody came in that's a really big musician and they wanted to sit there and talk about the records they have, would you be able to hold a conversation with them?
For a short time.
For a short time, okay?
Yeah.
And we got a short time because we don't want to get long-winded. We don't want to take up their whole day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look now. Okay, we got into music. You're really into music.
Yeah.
We also find out that you could find your way around Record Tape Traders or Soundgarden or any place else. What about if it was a used record store? Would you be able to find your way around that?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a real historian on music.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do when you're at home with music? Where do you find your music? In other words, what do you do?
I just put on a CD and listen to it.
Okay, how many CDs do you have?
Over 100.
Over 100, okay? Now let's move on to another. You said music. Now what other things are you really into?
Cars.
Okay. Now what about cars? How many model cars do you have?
1,000.
Okay, 1,000. He's got a lot of them. Okay. Usually,
Or more than that.
I think it's probably more. I've seen your bins in your house. Okay. Now, remember Caroline Lewis? Way back, the lacrosse player from McDonough.
Yeah.
What kind of car did she drive?
She did drive a red, white Honda CRV.
And this has been 5 years ago. This has been
She
5
probably
years.
has a new car now.
Yep, and I can't remember that. I cannot remember what kind of car she drove. Okay, what's your biggest event of the year when sometimes something rolls around in February? What is your biggest thing that I know you take your dad to all the time?
The International Auto Show.
Okay, how many times have you been to that?
Every year.
Every year. Okay, so Mark goes every year to that. Okay, now what
That's
is
the convention center.
Okay, great. Now Mark, what does that tell me about your love for cars?
I love them.
Okay, now if you look right now, look at the expression on his face.
Smiling.
Smile. What does that tell me as a potential employer or a job coach?
That I'm happy.
Okay, now let's say okay, Mark, we're gonna stock shells in Target. What do you do? Okay. There's not a whole lot of enthusiasm there. What you're finding out right now, if I'm doing my job right as a potential job coach, is I'm finding out about Mark. I'm finding out where his passions are, which is the same thing a job coach would do with anyone. Okay, when you go to college, where do you want to go to college, Mary? Virginia Tech, right? Okay, why do I want to go there? Well, because it offers things that I want to be when I get older. Okay, we don't want to go somewhere where we're going to have a job where we're going to hate it. So right now I'm finding out from Mark all these things about him that I'm pretending I never knew about. Okay, which is what a job coach is going to do. Let's go from the cars now. Okay, now you ever walk into a car dealership just to walk into it?
Not very often.
Okay, have you ever thought about it?
I could.
You could? Okay, would that be something cool to walk around and look at
Yeah.
cars? Okay, what do you usually do when you're down on the corner of Lake and Falls?
Watch the cars go by.
Okay, how many people at Boys Latin do you know what kind of car they drive?
Every single high school kid. Or parents.
Every parent.
You probably don't know that.
Oh, I know that. I know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you probably don't know how many people.
I have no idea, Mark. I have no idea. Okay? So let's move on now. We've talked about music and your passion for music.
Sports now.
Okay, like let's go into sports, okay? All right, who's your favorite football team?
Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. Do you know people that are going up for the draft when they have the draft?
Yes.
Okay. Are you pretty much an expert at that?
Not an expert, but I know who it is.
Have you made recommendations to a certain person about who you should draft?
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave that one to that, okay? But Mark, one of the things with Mark is now is there's no inhibition about telling somebody something either. So if you want a blunt employee, he's perfect for it. Okay, well let's look now. What season's coming up now?
Ravens.
Okay, now what do you have in your house?
Raven pictures.
Okay, but what is the room it's all in?
My man cave.
His man cave, okay? So you're really passionate about sports.
Yes.
Now let me ask you a question. If somebody offered you and said tomorrow, okay, we want you taking tickets and showing people their seats in Raven Stadium. Yes, he knows it better than I do. Would that be something you'd like to do?
Yes.
Okay, so that'd be really cool. So now, as you see right now, we're starting to formulate an entire potential job structure for him. Okay, so now we look. You love music.
Yeah.
And you're really good at it. He knows
Yeah.
music better than I do. Okay, you know cars.
Yeah.
And you love cars.
And sports.
Okay, sports. Okay. Now, what other things do you like to do?
Computer.
Okay, so you like the computer. Is a computer a big deal in the workplace today?
Yes.
Are you better at the computer than I am?
Oh yeah.
Be honest. Okay, yes. Mark has shown me things on my computer that I can't begin to figure out. Okay.
Or on your phone.
On my phone, yeah. He knows the cell phone better than anybody. So now, Mark, let me ask you a question. I have to go to Frederick Douglass High School tonight. I hate the drive. It's a 2-hour drive for me.
Is it really a 2-hour drive?
2-hour drive, the way I go, okay? And traffic and everything else. Mark, can you tell me right now, I have to take 695. Could you tell me what the Beltway traffic is right now, 695 heading down towards Catonsville?
Light.
Okay, okay, how do you know that?
Because I just went on the traffic for you.
Okay, all right, now let me ask you a question. Do you know where Route 97 is?
Down by Annapolis.
Okay, and what's the traffic like usually there?
Good.
Okay, what about 6 o'clock?
Rush hour.
Okay, rush hour. Okay, now how do you...
But now it's worse than 95.
Okay, so 95 is... Now, where's the bad spot on 95?
Probably down by DC.
Okay, have you ever...
And the Beltway interchange.
Okay, when I talked to you yesterday about doing this with me, what were the things you talked to me about after the fact that we talked about doing this show?
Trying to figure out how to get you down there.
Okay, trying to figure out how to get down there. Now, what other things did you tell me about? What other reports did you tell me about?
Captain Roy Taylor.
Okay, and what do you talk to? What's the news been today? Any news that's
It's been
your
very.
dad was just mentioning something. Your dad Ubers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many days a week does he do that?
5.
Okay. What did your dad just say about? What do you do when your dad's out somewhere and you've been watching the news and things like that? What do you do with your dad? What do you call into him and say?
There's an accident or shooting or an incident around Baltimore.
Okay, and do you ever look at where he is and then tell him what's going on there?
I don't, because it's hard to know where he is. He is because he's all over the place.
Okay. Now, if you saw something that
I'd call him and just say, "Are you downtown?" Because something happened downtown, but he's over in Cockneyville. Go, thank you.
Okay, great. So your dad's got his own little traffic service,
Yeah.
which is great. Okay, so we've now looked at. Let's go through the things that we find you like. You love music.
Yeah.
Okay. You love cars. You love computers.
Sports.
You love sports, and then you also love news and traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a whole lot of things you're good at. Okay, what would you say if you had the ideal job? Something that you could say, I could get up, and I know you're not a morning person.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay? What would be something that you'd say, I'd get up easily at 6 o'clock in the morning and work all the way till 5 o'clock in the evening, do that 5 days a week? What would it be?
Something with traffic.
Something with traffic. Okay, so you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you worked in, say, a newsroom, would you be able to pull all the stuff off and then go up to somebody who does the news and give it to them and have it pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's something you really like to do.
Yeah.
And you could do that 40 hours a week?
That's a lot.
Okay, all right, how about 30?
Okay.
Okay, we'll go 30.
Okay.
So what we've done now is we've formulated his likes. What things do you absolutely hate to do? Like something you say, oh my God, I gotta go do this.
I already know what it is, but I can't say it because we're talking about it right now.
Oh, working?
Yeah.
Working, okay. Working a job you don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm his job coach. Now, what would my job be if I wanted to help Mark out with the amazing talent? And you see, he has amazing talents. And we go back again, I'm not dwelling on any weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. What I'm doing now is I'm going to work now as a job coach to build on his strengths, and he has many of them. Any one of those things would be a strength for somebody. You've got more strength than most people, than those 10 people combined.
Yeah.
If you look at right now, let's look at where you could get a job, okay, in the music industry. Who knows where that could be? There could probably be a million jobs in the music industry, okay? What's another job you could have? Working with what?
Traffic and weather.
Traffic and weather. My God, the list grows longer. Cars, okay, sports. And any number of hundreds of jobs related to those fields would be a potential job for Mark to have. And not just a job, but we're talking a career. We're talking something where Mark could be really good at what he does because he already is. I trust you in finding out the traffic for you better than I would listening to radio. And I'm sure your dad feels the same way. Okay? With Mary, okay, I'm sure Mary was going somewhere, she'd probably call you first and say,
I don't think I have your phone number though.
Okay, all right. Okay, but what we now look at is I have now as a job coach found out what Mark is really good at. I would not do him justice being his job coach by not pursuing all those things he just told me. And I would now start looking, okay, let's start making a list of car dealerships. How would that sound, Mark?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. If I told you, come up with a list of all the car dealerships within a 5-mile radius of your house, would you be able to come up with it?
Yes.
Okay, pretty fast, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Probably a lot faster than I would.
It's easier to do on the computer than the phone.
You got it. Okay, so you would go home and do what?
Look it up.
So if I was your job coach and I said, Mark, here's your job for tonight. I want you to go find 30 car dealerships for me that we're going to send letters to. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're not going to guarantee he's going to get a job. None of us have that guarantee. And I tell athletes all the time, and pretty much anybody in business, what makes an athlete or a great business person or a great employee so fascinating and amazing is their willingness to do all this with no guarantees. So just like I have no guarantee my business will be successful, Mary has no guarantee she's going to become an All-American in college. There's no guarantee that majority of these things that we approach are ever going to turn out. But as it stands right now, none of them are going to turn out now because you're not pursuing it. So unless you get up, and it doesn't matter whether you're special needs or whether you're a person who's a college athlete, if you don't pursue it, it will never happen. So right now we're going to say to Mark, there's no promises.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
But right now, nothing's happening. Okay? So let's look now, music industry. What if I said you come up with a list of 15 different music stores in the Baltimore area? Would you be able to come up with it?
Yes.
Okay, good. You already have 2. What are the first 2 you say?
Soundgarden
Okay.
and Record Tape Trader.
Is there any off the top of your head?
I can't think of any right
Okay.
now because a lot of people are not doing that, buying CDs because everybody's doing everything online and downloading stuff
So
online.
He even knows the industry. Okay. Now, what you do though is maybe you could contact radio stations.
Yes.
Okay. What do radio stations usually have?
Music.
And what else?
100.7 to Bay.
And what else?
Traffic.
And
Weather.
news.
News.
Okay. So right now Mark has now expanded. Who knows how many hundreds of potential job openings? Okay. That you go into an interview. Okay. You walk into a car dealership. I say, okay, Mark, I'm a car dealer. Okay, I'm looking for someone who could meet people at the door till my salespeople can break free and show them around to the cars, maybe get them coffee, and keep them engaged in there so they don't walk out the door because nobody's helping them.
Yeah.
Is that something you could do?
Yes.
Would you feel comfortable walking around and showing people all the cars on the showroom floor?
Yes.
Would you be willing to learn about all those cars and all the options and everything so you could tell them that?
Yes.
So right now we're looking now, there's a whole nother opening now. So I'm a car dealer. I own a car dealership. I'm looking at now, and the thing you have to look at with any employer, and this is actually being very blunt, employers need people that can produce. It's very hard running a business. So when I hire an employee, I need someone who is going to contribute and contribute in a very positive, good way to my business. So I'm looking at Mark right now as a potential person who could make my business flourish. I'm not going to give him a job just to give him a job. I need him to be able to do something. And right now he tells me he could actually keep people engaged in my showroom and keep them engaged in conversation, give them coffee, and do a really good job of that. For me, looking at that and then having an interview with him and knowing how much he likes his cars, I think as an employer, I'd be pretty well set on going for that. Would that be pretty good, Mark?
Yeah.
Now let's look now at traffic. How many traffic people are there in town? You have any idea? People that do traffic or say it on the news?
A lot.
A lot. Pretty much every radio station?
Yeah.
Okay, now, suppose you went in now and said, I want an interview, or I want to contact radio stations. This is what I'm capable of doing. Okay?
Yeah.
And then start going and interviewing. What would you say? Suppose I own XYZ TV station. And I say, Mark, I'm looking for a guy that can help my guy keep up with all the current information on traffic and what's going on right now, because he needs it like that. Is that something you think
Yes.
you want to do?
Yes.
Okay, would you enjoy doing that?
Yes.
Could you do that 30 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay, now would you be very accurate?
Yes.
Because you're pretty accurate, right?
Yes.
So if I gave you a computer over there in the corner and said, this is your traffic center right here, and gave you a list of things I need you to find out minute by minute, could you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're looking now, as we see now, I'm now finding jobs that he could get. And let's look at the other one. Okay, what other topics do you like to do?
Bike.
Bike, okay. Could you work in a bike shop?
Yeah.
Okay, but would it be as interesting as working in a car place?
No.
Okay, so we'll start getting down to things maybe you might like to do, but but maybe not the greatest, okay?
Yeah.
So let's look now. You now figure, I got car dealerships, I've got sports. Let's look at sports. Okay, how many sports teams are in this town?
Are you talking about like only football and
Let's
baseball?
talk about football, baseball,
Two.
college sports,
Yeah.
okay, high school sports,
Yeah.
okay? All these avenues where they may need somebody to take stats. Could you do stats? Could you write down the statistics for Joe Flacco? Could you
It's
sit
a
there?
little hard for me to do.
Okay, all right. But could you then direct people to their seats in the stadium?
Yes.
Okay. Could you then direct them about what's going on with the game?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's look now. I finished now with Mark as his life coach and his job coach. Now let's look at where we go from here. Okay. Mark is now unemployed. Well, actually, he isn't really. He's my employee, one of my trusted employees. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you where his job's going to be expanding very soon. But for all intents and purposes, he doesn't have a job. It's my responsibility to get him to meet people. Where would I direct him? We come up with lists of all potential jobs. He only needs one job, mind you. But we come up with 20, 30, 40, 50, 300 potential leads and then send out a resume. Mark, you got quite a resume.
Yes.
Okay, you've worked for me for 5 or 6 years.
Yes.
You've worked numerous other places. You have a letter of recommendation. Get back to all your employers and say, can I get a letter of recommendation? Then start putting down interest. When you put down the interest in sports, interest in cars, all those things, and you have a resume. Then you go and approach an employer and then tell them what you can do. And say, listen, give me an interview, give me an audition. Okay, let me come into your showroom and I'll show you everything about your cars and things of that sort. So by now, we've now taken Mark, who was pursuing a job. Unemployment rate is extremely high for people with special needs. But because we've looked at Mark and said, what are Mark's strengths? We now have a career potential for him. And Mark's not the only one. I've had special needs people working for me for years. And I've had special needs people that have all had a gift and all had something that they were good at and passionate about that could be directed into a career. We've had Chase.
Yeah.
Chase was very good at doing meticulous tasks over and over and over again. I'm not good at that. I can't keep my attention span longer than 5 minutes without getting bored. That fault is also my best benefit. I can sit there and do multiple tasks all day long, go to different schools and things like that because that's my quality. That's my best strength. So we look right now, we found all of Mark's strengths, which are many. I mean, if you look at the amount of strengths he has and the amount of interest he has, the job potential is enormous. But now we got to put it all together as a plan and make it so it's something Mark can actually do and actually have a potential to get a job. And again, there are no guarantees. You could sit there and find every job in the world would be ideal for him. And we all know in real life that it isn't always about what we want. But there's no reason that he can't be pursuing something that actually gives him the desire and the career he wants and the reason to want to get up and not only just have a job. But we're talking about Mark having a life and a career and really, really contribute to the workforce and to the country and to the world with his talents. And if you look at it right now, the talents he's shown us, it would be a travesty to not take advantage of that. It would be a travesty for me not wanting to tap into what he has. It would be a travesty for someone who's involved with cars to not want someone with his knowledge. It's a travesty to not take advantage of his abilities and his capabilities. And I know that sounds funny, but if you look right now, I never say a word of what is wrong, what can he do. It's all about what he can do. And what he can do seems to far outweigh the things he can't do. And if you look at your own special needs relatives or your children, or even your own children that aren't special needs, if you look at now building on the potential that they have, and instead of looking at everything that's wrong, and look at what is right, and what are their strengths, then it would be incredible what people would be capable of doing. And again, I don't want to leave this at just special needs. We've shown you right now, Mark has strengths beyond anything you can imagine. And Mark, how many people tell you have strengths?
A lot.
A lot. And he does. Mark has incredible talents. When he's in here, I am now moving his job now away from doing the maintenance work in here and actually having him become a greeter. Because I now notice the potential he has. I watch him every day. People get captivated when he's in there holding them in conversation. He keeps people busy when I'm out there working and I can't get with them yet. The exact same thing a car dealership could be doing is exactly what I'm starting to use him for now. Not only that, but he brings people in, he signs them up, checks them in, makes sure they've checked in, and he now keeps people happy, he keeps people engaged, even when I can't do it. So his job now is starting to change because now I am taking advantage of the potentials and the gifts that he has because I want my business to grow. And I look that my business can be better because of his talents than they were without him. So when you look at every person with special needs, I need every parent out there and every person who works as a job coach or any person engaged with special needs people to really look and say, look at that person and what their strengths are and direct them to that. Everyone has a strength, and most people do not work to their strengths. And we worry way too much about the things that are wrong and not what's good. And I look at Mark right now, we've basically given you a job interview.
Yeah.
How many jobs now do we think we have now that you didn't think you had when we walked in here?
A lot.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. With or without your job coach, can you go and do a lot of this job search on your own?
Yes.
Would it be fun to do it?
Yes.
Okay, so you'd actually have a pretty big blast going through and finding all the car dealerships.
Yes.
Okay? Could you work with your parents putting together a nice little introductory letter and a presentation letter to send out to these people about a job?
Yeah.
Okay? And then you start arranging phone calls.
Yeah.
Okay? Or get your job coach to do the phone calls. Okay? But that way,
But nobody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants everything online now.
all it takes is one.
Okay.
Am I right? Now,
Yeah.
Mark has got to face the same thing everybody in the job world has to face. How many times, Mary, when you go for a job when you get out of college, you may go for a job that there are 500 applicants for one position. Are you going to say, I'm just not going to go for that position?
No.
No, you have to be the best of 500 people. It's the way the world works. The same thing with Mark. Mark may have to send out 500 letters to get the one job.
Or 600.
Or 600, let's hope it doesn't take that many, okay? That's a lot of work. But all it takes is one job. Mark needs one job. Mark needs one dealership, or Mark needs one radio station, or one traffic reporter, or one record store to achieve his dream. And then it doesn't stop there. Then once Mark gets in, can you imagine literally is hiring Mark at a record store, turning him loose in a record store with his passion for music? Or can you imagine turning him loose into a TV station where they want traffic reports? See, I see that because I've known Mark for years. But I also see the passion and I see the look in his eyes when he talks about traffic or cars or sports or whatever. But not only for special needs, we all have that. We all have a dream, we all have a desire, we all want that job or that career that lightens up our eyes, that gives us a reason to get up in the morning and go to work. Or that dream of having that. Mary, you're going to college because you had dreams. Mark, you had dreams too when you were in college. We all do. We still have dreams. I have dreams. I still have them. And I'm hoping I'm getting older and I better start working on fast because I'm running out of time. But what you have to look at right now is life without dreams and life without a desire and something to achieve, regardless of whether you're special needs or not, just could be unfulfilling. But you parents with special needs children, look at your child as a gift. And they have gifts. They have potentials. And I'm sure now you look at Mark, my God, you have gifts coming out all over the place. And any employer right now, in any of those fields we found there, would be crazy not to seriously consider you and at least sit you down for an interview and talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay? So, in wrapping up today, if you got anything out of this today, you get out to realize that everybody has a dream. Special needs or not special needs, Mark has dreams. He has desires. He has things he wants to do just like everybody else. And there's all capability for him to achieve those dreams. We also know that we may not get it. But we also know there's a guarantee that you'll never get it if you don't try. Okay, Mark needs one job out of 600 tries. That's all he needs, one. Okay, I need to have a successful business. So I need to contact 1,000 people to get 10. But that's just the way it works. And we all have to be willing to put in the time to help people and help ourselves realize our dreams. And I want every special needs person out there, every person that works with a special needs person, to start looking at your gift and what your strength is and what you can become. And don't settle for anything less. With that, we'd like to end this today. I'd like to thank Mark for coming by.
You're welcome.
And I'd like the handshake. And Mark, we'll keep you posted on how the job search goes and Mark's dream. And I'm telling you right now, I can't wait to hear it, because if all of a sudden he comes to me and says, Rob, I have to leave one day because I'm now working at so-and-so radio station doing transit traffic, I'll be the happiest guy in the world.
You can come in and I'll give you a grand tour.
I love it. It'll be a great tour. Listen, thank you all for everybody. Hope you got a lot out of this. And remember what I said. Don't dwell on your weaknesses, build on your strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.